Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Berserk Chapter 370, the end of the Fantasia arc. Let's get right into it. So to start this chapter, we actually got a nice colored page right here. We got Danen, we got Shirka, Isma and Isidro, some of the various creatures as well, the Kelpie, and some of the brownies, and it's just a very beautiful colored page. I absolutely love this. So very nice start to the chapter. And it does say on this colored page, for a while, peaceful days like this were the norm. Of course, that's no longer the case, and let's get right into the chapter. Alright, so we see various members of Roderick's crew, going out and about on their boats, looking for various survivors on the island that they can take back to their boat. We see them carrying Guts back to the boat. We see Serpico running around, and it does look like Puck is safe and sound. I thought in the last chapter with the discoloration in his wings that he was going to go away with the rest of the elves, but I guess that is not the case. I guess he's safe and sound. So Serpico is able to find Lady Farnese and Shirka. He's very happy that she's safe, and we also see that Ivalera is safe as well. So Ivalera and Puck are completely fine, which is very interesting. All the other elves and magical creatures from the island are gone, but they seem to be okay. So we'll have to find out in the future what caused those various magical creatures to disappear and why these two are exempt from that. I guess it could be explained by the fact that, the chapter in which Cheech disappeared, her whole spirit was tied to that one flower, and when the flower disappeared, she disappeared. Well, maybe all the magical creatures on that island were tied to the tree, and for some reason or another, Puck and Ivalera were not tied to that tree. Maybe they're tied to something else. Maybe Ivalera is tied to Shirka, and maybe Puck is tied to Guts. Who the heck knows? Now we see the various mages, and they look very distraught, they look very sad, some of them are crying. Serpico's wondering where Guts and Casca are. Farnese begins to blame herself. She thinks because she couldn't do a thing against Griffith, it was all her fault, and she should have been able to do something about this. Isidro is looking very distraught as well. Shirka is just kind of down and out of it as well. She's not even saying anything about it. But then, out of the blue, I've been wondering where she's been all this time. Morta shows up. She's surprised that everyone's okay, but she's not going to be lackadaisical or down and trodden about this. She's like, hey, we got to do something. Let's get a hold of ourselves here and go use our healing magic. So it seems like Morta is at least the elder statesman of the mages, that, she's going to use her healing magic, she's going to keep her wits about her, and she's not going to let the situation get the best of her. And she gets Farnese out of her funk, and Farnese is ready to go. She's like, okay, you're right, let me start using my healing magic, let's get everyone back to normal here and see if we can regroup a little bit. Now, Shirka wants to help out too, but Morta's like, hold on just a bit. The Black Swordsman, he's a little bit out of it. You need to go check in on him. He was mumbling and gazing up, and he just looked like a broken man. Now, of course, Shirka has developed a very special bond with Guts. Having gone inside the Berserker armor in her luminous form, she has that special connection. She protects him from losing his ego, so she really needs to get to Guts' side and sort of help him out through this crisis. And Morta even makes the point that even though he's settled down a little bit, if he does go berserk, it could be a catastrophe, so they need to sort of mitigate the situation while they can. Now, we know that Morta saw Guts go through the blood vision, at least from the outside, but she's never actually seen Guts go berserk. Maybe she's talked to Honar in the past and knows all the dangers of the Berserker armor, or maybe just that one instance in and of itself kind of gave her the impression that, man, if he really goes berserk, he's gonna just completely let loose and everyone's gonna be in danger. So who the heck knows, but Shirka definitely agrees, like, yeah, I definitely need to find Guts here, I need to calm him down a bit. And then as she leaves, we see Isidro lamenting a little bit. He's got his eyes closed and his teeth clenched. We don't know what he's exactly thinking right now, but it's probably something to the effect of, man, I couldn't have done more on the islands. I can't even help out right now. Shirka, Farnese, they're doing stuff. I'm just kind of useless right now. Kind of similar to the situation of how he felt in Enoch Village. Now, with all the survivors on the boat, Roderick wants to get going. He doesn't want to waste a moment. And one of his crewmates is like, hey, Guts locked himself in one of the rooms. So Roderick is panicking. He's like, we gotta get to Guts. He's screaming out for his name. And then we transition over to Guts. And this is one of the weirdest moments I've ever seen with Guts. You know, he's just staring at his Dragon Slayer, and he looks out of sorts. He kind of looks a little passive, a little timid. His hands are shaking. He falls against the wall, and then we see the Dragon Slayer fall down as well. So this has definitely got to be very symbolic here. Guts is represented by his swords in the series. You know, in the last chapter, we saw Guts hanging onto his sword for support, and now with the sword falling down, hopefully not clanging, if you know what I mean, it sort of represents the fact that Guts is got nothing to stand on anymore, that he's lost all his bearings, and he's got no form of stability in his life right now. And then he says, all this time, when I couldn't depend on anything else, anyone else, when I had nothing, I still had your strength to hold on to. And this is actually a really beautiful set of panels right here. We actually get a couple of flashbacks to the Golden Age arc. And I'll have to go back and kind of compare some of the artwork from like right now to the Golden Age arc and see if like things have been improved upon and see if Koji Mori and Studio Gaga did the Golden Age arc justice by drawing these panels. But yeah, this is really interesting, guys, because, you know, Guts is like, I've always had my sword. After the time he got raped by Donovan, he clenched onto his sword when he was in the tent, and he's always had that form of strength, you know, at the Campfire of Dreams, when he was thinking about leaving the Band of the Hawk, he's like, even though I'm not going to have anyone else by my side, I got my sword, and as long as I got that, I'm going to be okay. You know, I think this image just above the Campfire of Dreams, I think that's when he slayed the 100 men, and if you remember, he was laying against a tree and he was clenching onto his sword for support. And he finally says to end this chapter, you were all I had. And it says, a faint light lost in the dark. So what exactly does this all mean? Does this mean that he can no longer rely on the Dragon Slayer? Is this symbolic in a way? Is it trying to say that Guts has sort of lost faith in himself, and because of that, he's lost faith in his sword, and now he's nothing without it? How does he come out of this funk? What is he going to do? Is the Skull Knight going to return to him and sort of give him some hope? Sort of give him some guidance? Is he going to give him a new sword? What exactly is going to happen here? Is anyone going to be able to pull Guts out of this funk? Can Shirka do it? Can Farnese do it? It just seems like things are very dismal right now, and man, I just don't know what the heck is going to happen next. I mean, I hate to say it, guys, they're back on the boat again. Like, are we going to be back on this boat for a while now? Like, I was speculating with Real Life Ryan, like, maybe they'll go on the World Spiral Tree and they'll chase Griffith, but no, they're back on the boat, and like, how long are they going to be on the boat? Is it going to be multiple chapters? Who the heck knows, but one more thought about the Dragon Slayer and swords in general with Guts. Now, I want to draw your attention to the battle between Guts and Griffith when Guts left the Band of the Hawk. Remember when Guts slashed Griffith's sword, he broke it in half, and that sort of symbolically represented the breaking apart of Griffith's dream, and how that broke him as an individual, and how he took these drastic measures to try to attain that dream, and it all blew up in his face, and he ended up in the torture chambers, and that led to the eclipse. Well, what if this is a similar event? What if this is symbolically representing the destruction of Guts as an individual, the destruction of his inner confidence and his inner will to live, and because of that, that's going to lead to a situation in which he's going to use the Bailet. You know, I had that video where I was talking about the fact that Griffith might be trying to precipitate the use of the Bailet with Guts, and how Guts might be left with the decision of sacrificing his friends, Shirka, Farnese, Serpico, Isidro, and trying to gain that power so he can get revenge on Griffith. Who the heck knows, guys, but tell me what you thought of this chapter. The next chapter will be released on December 9th, so we got that to look forward to. We'll have a break in November, and we are starting a new arc, so that will be very exciting. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you on the flip side.